Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be watching WrestleLamia, where he talks about Triple H getting cooked after John Cena losing his final match forever. Never going to be ever in a match again. I know that's like normally the most famous words from wrestlers in the WWE, but I think Cena's actually serious. And I will say, his last run was better than he's ever been. For real. If you ever grown up watching Cena, like, he would lay down a lot in his matches. Like, a lot of his matches weren't always fast paced and like just, I don't know, it just nothing fresh and new. He was doing a lot of cool stuff this run. Like doing AJ Styles move. Did he do Edge spear? I thought I saw him do like a spear. Did he do a cross body too? I don't know. I thought he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff where I was like, yo, this dude's doing cool, different stunts. Like, I feel like that was like with the CM Punk match where he was putting his all in when him and CM Punk had a match in 2013, if y'all remember. And so now like he's going out giving Gunther, you know, the torch, and it created a lot of heat, man. I mean, people were out in the streets almost rioting, is what WrestleLamia is going to talk about here in this video. And not just that, like Triple H giving into the hate. Like, I thought y'all were going to be louder than that. Yo, that is a genius. I'm just hoping they capitalize on this and really this becomes like a new era. Like, really, there could be many opportunities with Triple H being a part of being heel, kind of like how Vince McMahon was back in the day. You could have obviously Gunther and him winning match after match after match where you get sick of him winning, like they did with Roman Reigns back then, which created Roman Reigns into a star, where like they were gonna make you like Roman Reigns even if you didn't. I feel like yeah, this is needed, because if Cena would have won, okay, he gets his victory, but like WWE needs something like that's gonna have you going, oh my gosh, and like people actually tapping into the product. There's going to be so many eyeballs on Monday Night Raw to see what Gunther has to say now. I mean, the heat is unreal. I haven't seen heat like this since like people talk about JBL back in the day when he had that segment with Eddie Guerrero and his mom, you know, and people like were willing to like do something to JBL. He had to have like mad security and everything. So I think there's a lot of hype right now, negatively, but it could be positive if they do something interesting moving on in the future of WWE. So we're going to click on this video. We're going to react to it. And let's get into this.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleLamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at the wildest wrestling news and stories you need to know, including, was Vince McMahon at Saturday night's main event? WWE fans dislike bomb John Cena's final ever match. WWE fans almost riot after John Cena's loss. We're in a new era of WWE apparently. Fans caught Bayley being unhappy. Brock Lesnar's final ever opponent has been leaked.
I saw that. I saw Bayley and it was CM Punk. And she was like shocked that he lost. And as far as Brock Lesnar's final opponent, I've been hearing he's going to be retiring soon, and Randy Orton around the corner, and maybe even Jeff Hardy soon. A lot of retirements probably on the way because people are getting old now. And I thought about that, man. They really need to keep wrestling interesting with these new stars. Like, there's a lot of new stars that have so much star potential. Like, what's that dude's name that sounds like The Rock? I can't think of his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And obviously you have what's his name? I'm messing up with names right now, but that dude that's really fast and does the spear. I'll show all the names, you know, on here, so like people be like, that's the name, and you don't even know the names. Man, this dude don't know wrestling. No, I need to be more into the product and get more into wrestling. I haven't been more into that in quite some time because like it wasn't like my type of era. But when there's moments, you know, I'm appearing, like when Cena became heel, that was a moment. That was a crazy moment. It had everybody's eyeballs watching. Like right now with Cena's loss, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere on social media. Like, this is a moment. So, you know, I'm hoping the product's going to get better. I'm hoping I'm gonna be interested every night I'm watching Monday Night Raw, or even a pay-per-view, which pay-per-views I hear be expensive nowadays. So I don't know, but yeah.
Cody Rhodes cries after John Cena's retirement, a legend not retiring, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive.
Okay, so what just came to my head was Dom Mysterio, obviously Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, but he makes, you know, big appearances because he's a big name. And oh, that masked man that's like showing up randomly and nobody knows who he is. So there's been quite interesting moments lately with the WWE, with the WWE product. Dom Mysterio obviously is like a big star in wrestling, and Drew McIntyre. Who else? Oh, Logan Paul. Logan Paul. I think he needs a little bit work more on his mic presence. Like sometimes the acting sounds kind of mid, but then he has some moments where he's good at playing that heel role and is a really good wrestler. I will say that. So yeah, there's some stars on the product. It's just sometimes it just seems like when you watch Raw, it's so dry. I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel like when I was a kid, I'm watching hour for hour where I'm like, this is crazy. Like when CM Punk did the pipe bomb and he was going all in on the whole company. You know, there were moments where it was just feeling real. I miss that.
Exclusive list. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story.
Excuse me.
Our first story looks at, was Vince McMahon at Saturday night's main event? Now our top story looks at John Cena's final match, specifically speculation that Vince McMahon was in attendance at the show. Due to Vince McMahon being featured in the Cena tribute video at the end of the show, and fans also caught John Cena giving a nice little smile when he saw Vince's face, it led to rumors that McMahon could have been backstage or in the crowd. However, it's now been reported that McMahon nor US President Donald Trump were in attendance.
That's actually surprising that Vince wasn't there. You know, I could see where they wouldn't show him on camera, but actually not being at Cena's last match is shocking. You know, I wonder if they're just saying that because of the controversy, or he really was not there, because it's actually surprising.
McMahon nor Donald Trump were at tonight's WWE Saturday Night main event. Robert F. Kennedy was at the show. A number of wrestlers were brought in specifically to see the final match. Randy Orton was not, as he's overseas promoting the Royal Rumble. A footage of McMahon in the tribute video was archive footage from around 2010, and it's still somewhat of a surprise that they actually featured McMahon in any capacity in the retirement tour. Now it is.
I saw where people were on Maven. If y'all ever watched Maven, whoever was on his show was like, they must be testing the waters to see people's reactions with Vince's face appearing, you know.
Still possible that Cena asks for Vince McMahon to be in attendance at the Hall of Fame induction, and as things stand, this is still rumored to be next year during WrestleMania weekend. In relation to Robert F. Kennedy, it was somewhat of a surprise that he didn't feature on camera last night. But with that being said, the crowd last night was extremely hostile, and WWE could have been looking at a situation where Kennedy was booed.
Is that Aiden Ross? And that's that Rumble CEO, I believe, right there.
Which could have caused him grave
Dang, they got all kinds of politician people up in here. What?
embarrassment. Not more embarrassing than that finish though. Orton not being present continues to disappoint fans. The history between Randy Orton and John Cena is well documented, and the fact that Orton was instead booked on a WWE-tied commitment in Saudi Arabia instead of the show highlights how WWE sees him in 2025. It definitely would have been great, as John Cena was taking off his armbands, that you would see Randy's reaction right at ringside. Next,
I think it would have been cool if they had a whole bunch of wrestlers just like, maybe having, you know, their finishers done on Cena, and then he's fighting back, and like everybody just has like one last hurrah in the ring. Like imagine like every few seconds, here comes Edge, spear, here comes Randy Orton, RKO, here comes, you know, just moments of matches you've seen where they all come in the ring, and then like Cena having help from other people that are, you know, stars, such as CM Punk or who else? Rey Mysterio. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it would be cool if we would have saw like a bunch of people making some surprises in the ring or appearances, like for some nostalgia feels. I did see how Rob Van Dam was in the crowd. You had Mark Henry, Trish Stratus. Who else was in there that I can think about? Can't think about it. I think those were like the main ones that were popping up in appearances in the crowd. But yeah.
Next up, WWE fans dislike bomb John Cena's final ever match. Now, this is one of the first vocal instances where fans have really revolted against the head booker Triple H on live television. Fans were absolutely furious that WWE decided to have John Cena tap out to Gunther, and when Triple H appeared on screen to close out the show, the boos were thunderous. This somewhat took away from Cena's moment, as all anyone could focus on was a controversial end to Cena's iconic career. Now, surprisingly, Triple H still appeared on the post-show, and to be fair, that took guts for that crowd, as a chant almost drowned him out. Triple H was met with chants of AEW, "We want Vince," and "You effed up." Triple H traditionally has a crowd on his side, so the fact that he received such hostility shows all the blame is falling on him. Triple H even addressed the boos numerous times, and even at one point said, "Well, that's disappointing. I thought you'd be louder." But now fans have...
I thought that was genius, because I was like, that's an opportunity for more storyline potentials. You know, Triple H going heel. If you remember Vince McMahon, how he has played that role many times. There could be a whole new era started with this current roster because of this moment. You know, there could be a lot of changes that'd be interesting, because they need it, man. They need interest. There's more interest and more people that are going to watch Monday Night Raw because of this result of Cena losing. If he would have won, they could have still maybe continue the product doing it however they're going to do it. But this needed to happen, in my opinion, because I feel like it's a moment. It's just, are they going to capitalize on it correctly? Is it going to be tough because of TKO and all these, you know, what would you say? I don't know if I want to, I don't know what I was trying to say there. I don't know how much effective the whole storylines are because of TKO. Like, I've heard people say that. But I am still hoping that we'll see more better storylines now that this moment is an opportunity for that. I feel like they do that though. Like, they did that with R-Truth, and then they just kind of killed him off and made him like a Cena fan. It was like, what was the point of that? They could have made him they could have made him into somebody. And then they I think buried the guy that, I forget what his name is. I'll have to show, you know, a image of him as I point right here. They like buried him, I heard. So they seem to be like having moments where they could do something, and then they just kill it. So we'll see.
Taken to YouTube to voice their opinion on the match itself, and the dislikes currently speak for themselves, as at the time of this video, WWE's highlight reel of the match has obtained over 26,000 dislikes on their official YouTube channel. By the end of the year, due to how much mainstream attention this is getting, this could be the most disliked video in WWE history. Actually, no one could top Jay, right? Next up, Triple H defends his
On Jey Uso
booking.
I think he was drunk on one of the interviews too on the pay-per-view I saw. I think it was Jey Uso. He gets a lot of hate. I feel like he needs to get more in shape, more fit, and go the heel route. It looks like they may be trying to go that direction with him. I think he's a good wrestler. I just think on the mic he doesn't have or he was a good wrestler. It seems like he's slowed down because of just health. I feel like he needs to get his health right. You know, you can just see when people are slowing down in wrestling, and he's had some slow matches. It could be age, it could be anything. Even CM Punk was kind of gassed, I think, in that match he had with CM Punk, where CM Punk even got frustrated because of how he didn't turn over in the way he wanted him to. And then I think he apologized to him after the match was over. But yeah, he's gassed out a lot. And as far as how he talks on the mic, it doesn't make it feel like a promo. It feels like he needs work on the mic. And it's wild because, like, I feel like that's with like quite a few wrestlers, where some are good and even some like can't really like wrestle where it seems like they're really hitting each other, you know, where the women seem to be selling better than the men. So I do have critiques, you know, with the current era of wrestling. But I feel like Cena was like that too. He was bad at selling punches too. And other wrestlers too, where they were just seeming like they're not hitting each other. So You know, you could look at past eras too. But either way, let's continue.
Triple H was quick to
Got that advertisement.
defend his booking on the post-show last night, and as expected, the game basically implied that it was John Cena's call to tap out clean to Gunther. There are time-honored traditions in our business, and there are ways you handle your business. John has said the right thing his entire career, that it's all about leaving this place better than you found it. There's no way for people to understand that in the moment. You do what is right for business. You do what is right for the industry. John has done that his entire career. I'm going to do that for my entire career. Now the game continued by saying, if you want to talk behind the scenes, he will put over somebody on the way out. He will leave this better than he found it. He will go in the ring and make somebody on his way out. That's what John does and has always done. I know people...
I don't know. I think back in the day, people felt like, or people have talked about burying talent, things like that. So maybe over time he's changed, you know, from growth in life. Because I was seeing a lot of people speak of Cena being like an actual heel in real life. But I think it was a smart play. I think it was a genius play, actually, to get the loss in this situation.
Will criticize this and look at it and talk about this moment right here. I've got big shoulders. I'm good with it. And the majority of fans did expect Cena to lose to Gunther last night, but virtually nobody expected Cena to tap out. Cena is a man who prides himself on being the man who never gives up, and Cena finally giving up in his final match is quite poetic, yet it doesn't have a sense of celebration and triumph that fans...
Dude, he used to be so big, bruh. Like, he was huge back in the day. He's slimmed down a lot. But like for his age, he hasn't aged much at all.
Wanted out of a final match. Cena is one of the most celebrated and beloved pro wrestlers of all time, so fans are bound to get emotional. So it's understandable why there's so much outrage being directed towards WWE and Triple H.
Man, I was such a big Cena fan. I feel like once he like peaked, he got the most hate in the world. But when he was on his come up, and I don't know, maybe he was still hated a lot when I first discovered him, which was the WrestleMania 23 DVD, where he faced Shawn Michaels. And I remember playing the SmackDown versus Raw games, buying the t-shirts, Hustle Loyalty Respect, Royal Rumble 2008 on YouTube. Like, I remember all those moments of just being a huge Cena fan. And I feel like I gave into the culture of hate when it comes to Cena, and just like was like just giving into what people thought. So I feel like that's what happens when people blow up, like they get the hate. I think there was other reasons though, where people were aware of like certain stars being buried and him always getting over, him always winning, and just nobody getting a chance. So there's people probably that looked at it that way. But I do think there was sometimes like just hate that happens the bigger people get. But as far as being like the most popular wrestler and liked and all that, obviously in sales and stadium, you know, attendances, probably is right on what he's saying here. But I don't know. I feel like as far as like super praised and loved, he got really hated over time. And then I feel like it's kind of went maybe back up because people were just seeing him leaving and retiring, and just him being around the business so long. I don't know. I feel like though there was a moment where people were sick of John Cena because he always won all the time and got every championship and just was the face of the company, you know. I think what would have probably made him not have that shift of hate, like have a Hogan type of career, is if he would have, when it came to I think right around the Nexus timeline, he was gonna go heel. If he would have went heel during 2012, people feel like that would have been crazy. It would have been game changing. And I know this is random. I even was recently watching where they talked about how NXT was buried because of Cena, and it would have been interesting to see what their career was like if that didn't happen. Like, everybody talked about how NXT was so crazy. Like when he was getting jumped, and like that whole, you know, mat was getting teared up. Like there was like a fan ringing the bell, like, somebody get out here, like this is out of control, you know. Like, they were really believing it. Yo, I watched that was so realistic. And I watched from David Otunga, he said Vince McMahon was telling them behind the scenes, if y'all don't make this believable, you're fired. Yo, I don't know, I just thought that was cool. I know it's random, but I'm just saying.
A lot of fans have questioned if there would be outrage if Cena passed out rather than tapped out, and it's definitely a topic worth discussing. If Cena passed out, he would have kept his integrity, and his never say die, never give up ethos wouldn't have been shattered in his final ever match. Now, it goes without saying that a lot of the frustration from fans comes from a genuine place, and this frustration has been brewing all year long. WWE's massively let fans and Cena down with the retirement run. Cena had a disastrous heel run, and he was given a number of wasteful matches that took the WWE great for granted. It was also puzzling why WWE only chose 36 dates for Cena this year, when he could have done double that. He was missing from go-home episodes and probably much more, but that's for another video. For a lot of the year, particularly when Cena reverted to his babyface roots, it was almost as if WWE were ready to boot Cena out the door. This was seen with his squash against Brock Lesnar and his 2-week title reign with the IC.
Taxes was feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is no
title.
I gotta say, his run was just all over the place. Heel, not heel. What else was there? Brock Lesnar doing like a bunch of F5s. I don't know if they even went any direction with Brock Lesnar after that with Cena. Just everything was just like, what is going on with the writing, bro? What is this run? But he had some good matches, like against Logan Paul, AJ Styles. People say Gunther. So, you know, it is what it is.
Cena's booking last night hasn't hindered his legacy in any way. In fact, it's furthered the love and admiration fans have for him. And there perhaps will be never another wrestler that evokes such a visceral reaction like Big Match John. But fans were almost ready to riot after John Cena's loss. Now,
I still think there's some wrestlers out there. Randy Orton. Is it really Randy Orton left in the business that you think like has that kind of that eye potential of like that's a star in the company? Because I feel like there's just so many crazy storylines and there's just so much hype and interest to Randy Orton that's left in the company as a star. There may be some others that I'm forgetting about, but that's just what pops out of my head right now that I can think about. It's Randy Orton.
Things could have almost gone catastrophic last night, as the heel heat was so bad on Gunther last night that he needed a ton of extra security to leave the arena. Fan footage on social media shows fans trying to get to Gunther, shouting out profanity, and WWE thankfully provided substantial security to keep the ring general safe. Now, this video is actually crazy. This is the type of heel heat that was present in the 70s and 80s, and Gunther
That's legendary.
Could now be the biggest heel in the entire world. Whilst it's understandable why Gunther is getting a ton of heel heat, personal attacks or even fans threatening violence is a step way too far. At the end of the day,
in the times we live in today, man, idolatry, especially with it being such a huge, you know, a huge, what would you call it? Culture in the world. Yeah, it's gonna come with that because the world is like super big when it comes to idolatry with sports, wrestling, celebrities. You know, people go to the extremes. Some go to the extremes.
Gunther is just doing his job, and it's always important to separate the wrestler and the human being when it comes to this kind of booking. Man, even 10-year-olds were squaring up to Gunther last night.
Oh my gosh, bro, this is genius, dog. Like the heel of this whole situation, like Gunther being a heel and then having like that moment where the kid's mad, just like everybody having a reaction. Dude, this is such a opportunity if it's done right for just a change in this business, as Triple H would say, this business.
But now we're apparently in a new era of WWE. Triple H is probably the undisputed king of welcoming fans to a new era. And last night, the head of WWE Creative once again ushered in another era. According to the game on the post-show press conference, due to the show featuring the retirement of John Cena, as well as the NXT showcases of Obafemi, Sol Ruka, and others, it officially marked a new era in WWE. Which era are we in again?
I heard something about Chris Jericho returning too. That'd be cool. I know that's random again.
Oh, right, yeah, the Saudi era. Fans are already mocking these comments on social media, as Triple H does have a tendency to overhype.
I've noticed that, man. Saudi is getting like all American companies are like mad investments involved with American companies. Like I think Paramount, I believe EA, WWE. It's wild.
The product, which can be ultimately detrimental in the long run. Are we really in a new era of WWE? This will be perhaps the 5th era in the last 5 years. Next up, WWE teases Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. The WWE are officially teasing a huge match between Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Speaking on the post show last night, Peter Rosenberg asked Triple H.
All right, so I don't know much about this part of this section of the sports. Brock Lesnar's final match, Bailey unhappy. I think we should keep it about Cena. So I'll stop right here. If you guys enjoyed my reaction, smash that like button, sub if you're new, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in and making it all the way to the very end of this video. And I gotta say, because I am a believer in Jesus Christ, if you believe, you will not perish. And if you confess to your sins, to him he will forgive you, and it's the best decision you'll ever make. I'm telling you right now, your life will change for the better. And that love and that peace that you're seeking for, there's nothing like Jesus. Everything else is like a void in this life. So praise to Jesus Christ. I love Jesus Christ. He's the best. He found me in 2024. And now we're in 2025 of December, almost 2 years. And yeah, I'm going to end it here though. I'm out of here. See you on the next one.